guys, welcome back to. Why is it feedback?
Yeah. I don't know. I put myself on mute. Let me see if it helps.
It wasn't doing that when we were just talking. Is it better? Does it still feedback now? That's good.
But I like to be able to say something.
Let me see if it. You got your mic still on?
You can hear me?
Yeah. I
I
don't know what
muted
that was
my
about.
mic. Can anybody hear an echo?
Everything is fine right
Y'all,
now.
y'all know why that happened, right?
No,
Cause
why?
you just
Why that happened?
prayed. Cause she just prayed.
Because we just prayed and invited God into the space. So the enemy trying to, you know what I'm saying? Don't worry. This is going to be great. We ready. What the 1, 2?
I'm gonna pray.
Stop. Then I was about to get that spirit,
In the name.
lady. Okay. All right. Let me try the intro again.
Go ahead, girl. You got this.
1, 2, 3. Hey guys, welcome back to Markitta In Your Business, the podcast, all things transition and growth. Our special edition, Support Her Women's Month. And I have my co-host here.
Hey, y'all. It's Keisha.
What's up? And we have another special guest in the building, the one, the only, Speak Sakia.
Hey,
Your favorite
y'all.
financial coach.
Yes. So excited to have her. Yes, honey.
What's up, girl? Hey, girl. Hey. Welcome
Thank
to the
you
podcast.
guys for having me. Thank you, ladies, for having me. I am really excited. This is a little first for me. I'm really excited.
Yeah, well, we're gonna welcome you in. So for those who don't know who you are, can you please tell them who you are and what your business is?
My name is Speak Sakia. I am a credit coach and financial coach based in South Florida. And what I do is help women recover from their financial mistakes. I started a credit repair business in 2016 when I wanted to fix my own credit. I realized that what I did to fix my credit was very possible and attainable. So I went into business. But while being in business, I recognized that people didn't just have bad credit just because they were in my community or just because we were less fortunate. People had bad credit because they had bad financial behaviors. So that is why I am into coaching now and spend my time teaching women how to rebuild, maintain good credit and finances.
I love that. I love that. I just want to. Can I just just dive in because I've been wanting to. Probably, I didn't know I would ever interview you, but I think my first encounter with you, I was like, wow, this woman is amazing. I wanna be in the spaces that she's in, right? And lo and behold, now I'm
Thank
interviewing
you.
you,
Isn't
which is
that something?
crazy.
That's how
Um,
powerful the mind is, though. I think the first time we met, do you remember the first time you heard me speak?
yes, you did the event, and you spoke about anxiety, and I
Yes.
never heard anyone speak on anxiety and me be like, oh, I have that. Like I just like everybody's saying anxiety at this point. My therapist never diagnosed me and said, Keisha, you have anxiety, you deal with this and this and this. She is very encouraging and never kind of like told me what was like, she never directly said, well, this is what your issues are, right?
Mhm.
And then you explained it in such a way, and I was like, well, this is what I talked about with my therapist. This is anxiety, this is what this is. And then not only did you like speak on that, but then you gave us a tool to walk away with, and that for me was
Yeah.
just major. And since then I've applied that to my life, and I really didn't know what an anxiety attack was or anything like that, but I told Marquita the other day that I was feeling so weird, like just a heaviness. And Marquita she just kind of felt it. She's like, "Girl, you too quiet. You're not on social media. You're not saying nothing. Something is not up." And I actually did use, I think it's the breathe, the 6 second. Is it 4 seconds?
Yes. Box breathing. Yes.
Box breathing, and it did calm me down, as well as affirmation and things like that, like you mentioned. But that was my first encounter with you, and your name is Speak Zakia.
Yeah.
Like
So
just
I it's so interesting because I actually recorded a video this morning. It's about 7 minutes long, but I haven't released it. And in the video, I'm speaking about how I learned to become, how I freed myself from what other people think of me. And the reason I felt led to record it is because Speak Sakia started just as I started as a mindset coach,
Mm,
because I have this natural ability to just speak positivity into people. And I always am, I found, once I discovered that my gift was speaking, I found myself always encouraging and pouring into people. And in the same sense, I attract the people who need it. And I'm thinking I'm attracting it, but really that's the God, just guiding people to me or whatever, right? So I started off as a mindset coach. And then I did this series on how to manage anxiety. And then I went into financial coaching, and now I'm into credit coaching. But in that journey, I lost my way so many times and hesitated about starting over and rebranding myself. I also speak about manifestation. I have a dear future husband journal. You know what I mean? I don't want to get ahead because I'm not sure what kind of questions you guys have, but just because you mentioned anxiety, when the video, the point of the video was is that I'm okay with who I am. There are so many different elements of me, but there are people who say, Sakia, you confusing people, because first you started off by talking about anxiety. Now you talk about finances. Then you talk about your future husband. We see your kids up on your Instagram. You are confusing people. But as long as I am being who I am, I feel that I know that other people are going to be blessed by it. So to hear you say, and then look, we met about anxiety, but look at you still, now that I'm speaking about finances, and you're sitting here interviewing me. You know what I'm saying? So as long as I am being my authentic self, I really can't concern myself with trying to
yeah.
fit in the
Oh,
IG box of what I
yeah.
should be talking about, etc.
Yes, 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 yes. Because can I say, when you spoke, you also mentioned that you were a financial coach, and I
Mm,
said, I don't know if I need this right now, but I'm going to follow this woman. Whatever she is going to speak on, and that's just the fruit of what you, not only did you speak on it, but you had fruit, you had a website, you had a testimonial, you had things to match up with what I was already feeling. This girl, she's legit, right? But you also had the fruit. You had already put the work in to match up with what I was feeling. So you could have
yeah,
came out with a kid's crayon case, a book, a kid's book, a children's book. I think I
yeah,
would have purchased it just off the strength.
yeah.
I know when you're speaking, it's going to be something of value, something of fruit, and it can be in any field. If you decide to cook tomorrow, I would buy your cookbook. And I'm not
I
just saying that because
appreciate that.
we're on here, but it's just like that's the credibility that you have, even with your
I
names.
appreciate that.
Like you know that she's going to speak and say something of value. Like people talk all the time, but it doesn't mean that I want to hear them speak. You know what I'm saying? That's a
Yeah,
gift that you have. So sorry,
I
y'all.
appreciate that.
We just got right
We kind
into
of
it.
like, but that's how it goes. That's okay. Sorry, Marquita. Okay, I'm ready.
It's no sorry. I mean, I'm just sitting back and listening because honestly, I think both of us this year stepped into our
Yes, we
season.
did. Yes, we
Definitely. Because
did.
I see the evolution of where you were last year and both of us, where we were when we both started Marketing Mayhem and now where you are. And I think we both had that switch where it was just like, y'all about to take all of me and every aspect of
And
me, period. And I don't care.
that's
And
it.
so
I
Keisha and I had
can't.
talked about, huh?
I can't. The thing is that we are all created by the creator, but we are all created differently. And what may work, I said this in the video as well. I guess I'm gonna have to post a video, but what may work for one person may be work very well for them. And that is the person that I seek to, like, I've hired people to help me. And I'm not saying that they don't know what they're talking about, but what worked for them does not work for me. I my creativity comes out when I open my mouth. Can I sit in front of a computer and digitally create and it overwhelms me to the point that I can't even begin to explain. Like if I have to digitally create something, I'm gonna have to hire somebody. And I've tried, I can do little things here and there, little template, give it to me. I might be able to boom, 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 you know? But for me to have to sit down and create digitally is different than when I open my mouth and speak. I don't necessarily have to prepare because I have accepted that speaking is my gift. And I am confident that when I show up and when I speak, it's going to come from my spirit and people are going to feel me because that is my gift. But if I try, even if I hire a coach, like I've hired a couple of different coaches, I'm in different groups and I'm, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to build my presence online. When I spend so much time trying to do it the way they say do it, if it's not authentically me, it's not going to come out for me the way it came out for them. So my success is not going to look like their success because we're different. We were created differently. You know what I'm saying? So I think for you, Marquita, and for myself, what we did differently was we showed up as who we are. And once I did, I can speak for myself, and I feel the same for you too, because I've been watching your stories, I've been seeing the testimonials, I've been seeing the things that you're doing and how people are coming and drawn to you. You know, we've been back and forth on that. But I feel like once you show up as your authentic self, people are going to come. The right people are going to come. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'm
absolutely. And
ranting.
that's what I was going to say. I mean, I'm definitely, especially with me leading Bible study and just, I mean, I was already in the word for myself and doing what I do with the group by myself, but just like, I really like know my identity now. And really, I really
Mm-hmm.
don't care. So I'm showing up with
Mm-hmm.
nobody on the live. I'm showing up. I'm just going to continue to show up, show up, show up, show up, because now it's for me. And now I know what my purpose is and I know that I'm provided for, and like different things just keep happening for me. I was telling Keisha yesterday offline, like ever since I started the Bible study and was obedient in that, I had more sales in my business and I haven't even been promoted.
Wow.
I have
Wow.
not even been promoted. I'll put stuff here and there, but it wasn't like how I
Mm-hmm.
was forcing it. Last year, and I declared that this year was going to be my year of flow, and that I wasn't going to
Mm-hmm.
force it. I wasn't going to do anything that made me uncomfortable, and I was going to go back
Mm-hmm.
to the things that I love. And like podcasts, like you said, speaking is my gift too. My gift is my gab. That used to be my tagline,
Give the
and so
gab.
now I'm
Yeah.
getting back to, I really had to write a list of the things that I love, and like, why aren't you doing the things that you love? And so that's how, I've come to this version of myself. And that's why you're seeing more of me show up, because I'm just really going down my list of the things that I love and that fill me up. And I don't want to do
Yeah.
anything that drains me or unfulfilled. That's why, like, literally, I just had this whole debacle happen, but I wanted to still come on here and do this because this fills me up. I was like, I want to do something that's going to make me feel better about myself. And
Yeah.
I love speaking. I love being around other women who are doing things and just motivational, and yeah, it just makes me happy. I knew this was going to fill me up more than just wallowing in what just happened.
That's awesome. And I think what you just spoke on, Marquita, is something that I call the power of choice, because you can choose to either stay in that space of misery or you can choose to do something that makes you happy. And so
Mhm.
you getting up here to still do this, it's like it's just a choice. And a lot of us don't recognize how powerful a choice is. When somebody piss you off, you make a decision. Am I going to stay and dwell on it or am I going to move on? You know what I mean? What I'm still here, I'm still alive. When you're in traffic and someone cuts you off, you're going to sit there and cuss and burst your own eardrum because the window's up. So you fussing and carrying on. Can't nobody hear you. You going to raise your own pressure or you just going to be grateful that, okay, I'm not in an accident. Let me move on with my day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
She laughing.
absolutely. And when we first started when we first did it, we actually did a live together. We spoke on affirmations. And so that's how we really connected. And so I identify with that whole mindset thing because I feel like your mindset is tied to everything else you do. And like, that came up for me when I started my business. All the stuff that I didn't even know I needed to work on came up when I started my business. And so that's why I always encourage people. I say, if you can go to therapy, go to therapy. If you can't
Yeah.
go to therapy, start journaling and getting to know yourself, because
Yeah.
baby, all that stuff gonna come up when entrepreneurship, when them sales don't come in, that scarcity gonna come up, that
Right.
lag, all those imposter syndrome things, all those things that will come up when you
It's so
are
true.
operating in business. So
Right.
It's so
I love
true.
that we have that same type of um
Marquita, I want to say since I've met you or since we've connected, even, Facebook, Instagram, we go on Clubhouse together or whatever. One thing I really admire about you and really respect about you is your consistency. I've never seen you fall off. You've always shown up. And that's from my perspective. Now, from your perspective, you could have done better. Of course, we're our worst critics, you know what I mean? But from me, where I stand, the moments where I was doubting myself and things like that, you've always shown up. I've always seen you talk about your podcast. And I don't have a podcast, but I know when you're promoting something on another platform, it's not a walk in the park, okay? Like the large influencers want to make it sound, or like it looks, on the outside looking in. So I just honor your consistency and admire and respect that about you. It's inspiring, child. Even just as
thank you.
inspiring.
I appreciate that because sometimes I'll be like, I feel like you, where you be supposed to be like, go back to my question. I asked you a question. I'll be like,
Listen, and
I'll be
people
like, oh, let me
laugh. You know
answer
how
her
much
question.
people. Keisha,
I,
have you ever passed my story?
listen, I have, but then after that, I'll be going back after you be watch. After I see the video of you talking about go back, I be oh my bad. I'm sorry.
I'd be
I'm
like,
sorry.
ooh,
Let
I
me
see
go.
you skip my story. Go back and answer that question. Because, listen, we need that feedback. You know what I'm
Yo,
saying? And that's
right.
when I speak about showing up as myself, because before I would have just been like, oh my God, 40 people watch the doggone thing and ain't nobody comment. But instead, now I post it and then 5 minutes later, go back and see like 13 people are watching. I ain't getting no response. That's when I put it, hey, I seen you skip my story. Go back and, go back and answer that question. You know what I mean? Before I wouldn't have done that. But that's how I show up as myself. And people, girl, y'all should see the people laughing, carrying on. Like, girl, you caught me.
I love it. And I definitely I talked about this with Keisha, how like we have to really train our audience how to show up for us.
Yeah,
And
that's
what we
good.
need, and just continue to train them on different things. So you spoke on how you work on different areas, because I feel like you need to work on your mindset to work on your finances. I think that coincides. So you're still
Yeah.
a mindset coach at heart. You just sprinkling it with money because that's what people want to see.
It
And that's
all
just like
goes
me.
back to the mind.
It
Everything
goes back to
begins
the
and ends
mind.
with the mind. Yes, it all begins and
Definitely.
ends with the mind. And when I started, I was like mindset coach, but it was too broad. Because what part of the mind? It was too broad. But now what I've realized is that I don't have to just say mindset coach. I can be a financial coach that helps you change the way you think. You know what I'm saying? The affirmation. So many people are responding. Keisha, thank you for the Instagram story, your energy.
Girl, I
Okay.
love my little affirmation card. I said them today. I said my passion and my purpose pay me abundantly. Period.
Yes.
Like those affirmation
Yes. That's
cards.
it. That's it.
So, but
Someone
that's what I was
inbox.
going to say.
Oh,
It
sorry.
goes
Go
back
ahead.
to like, just training them the way. I don't know how to say this. So for me, I'm learning the same thing. People like to see the flashy things because that's what they're used to. They like to celebrate different things. So like I posted my car, even though I got that 6 months ago, but I knew that they would read the post because people are attracted to shiny things, right? So I had
Mhm.
to post that to teach them about manifestation underneath it, and journaling, and the importance of journaling and manifesting the things you want. So I'm learning
Mhm.
kind of the sprinkle the stuff I want them to know with the big shiny object. So when I go to
Yes.
Mexico, y'all, and all these pictures, it's just gonna be there to
Yeah,
bring shiny object to
Yes,
help.
honey. You get you some good real footage. You know what I mean? Get you
Listen,
some footage for your
right?
reels. Take little short video clips that you can type. Yes, honey. Yes. Get all of it. Get your
Yes.
feet in the sand. Wiggle your toes in the sand. I
Journaling in
love
the
it. Look, in
sand,
my mind,
okay?
I'm there with you. I'm just thinking about it like, oh, what's going on?
No, definitely. I love that.
we might
Definitely.
just show up on your trip, girl. We might just show.
Please come on, pull up. I was about to pull up on Sakia today. They was like, "Oh, you could go through Fort Lauderdale and then go to Baltimore." I was like, "Please hold."
Girl, listen, I literally work 5 minutes from the airport. I'm literally down the street from the airport.
You should have never told me that because the next time I'm in Fort Lauderdale, you know who I'm coming to
You better
see.
hit me up. Bring
Yes.
me up. Hit me up.
Awesome. Okay, so I want to go back to the financial side of things. What are some money myths that people think about when they think about finances?
The biggest thing that I can think of off the top of my head is that a lot of people think that a lot of money solves your problems. And money does
Wait,
not
I need
solve your
you to say that
problems.
again. I need you to say that again for the people in the back because they did not
For the
hear that.
people in the back, a lot of people think that having a lot of money will solve your problems, but that is not true. And if you don't believe me, look at the people who win the lottery and then be broke a few years later. It's because if you don't know how to properly manage your money, you're going to always have a problem, no matter how much money you have, right? That's number one. And then number two, what are the chances that you're going to wake up with an extra $500,000 in your bank account? You know what I'm saying? You may as well learn how to manage what you have, especially so that you can grow and obtain the things that you desire. But people say, oh, if I just had an extra $5,000, if I just had an extra $10,000, or all I need is an extra $50,000. Well, if you get it, do you know how to manage it? How will you manage that additional money? How will you budget and set things aside? Are you gonna have the self control and be able to separate the funds as it should be separated, or are you gonna get on social media and brag about what you got? Go buy diamonds and pearls and cars and homes. Are you gonna invest it so the money can work for you while you sleep? Or are you going to splurge and buy things for mama, your cousin, your auntie, and then turn around and be broke all over again? So that's one of the biggest myths that people have, that money will solve the problems. Another thing is, I just was given this tip on my page. A lot of people think that you don't need credit, but that you can, if you have cash, that you don't need credit. But if you aren't gonna buy a house, $300,000 cash, then you need to be able to show and prove that you are able to handle your finances, and that's what your credit does. Your credit report is black and white proof that you are able to handle your finances, that you are able to pay your bills on time, that you can handle credit cards without maxing them out, without pushing the limit to the limit. Okay. That you are not desperate for credit, that you don't just go applying for things just because you have the ability. It really speaks to your financial responsibility. So if you don't have any credit, then cash is not going to solve your problems unless you got tons of it. That's number one, right? And then number two, if you have bad credit, then you ain't gonna be able to get nothing. So I think it's really important that people understand it all starts with your mind and your ability to manage what you have before you can get what you desire, if that makes any sense.
Definitely. I read the book by, I think it's Girl Boss, by the owner of Nasty Girl, and she was saying
Hmm.
how she had got to the point where she was making the money and she went to go get a Porsche and she couldn't because she had no credit, or it was bad credit. It was either she didn't have any or she had bad credit. But she was like, I got the money to pay for the car full out, and they didn't care. They were like,
Yeah.
you still have credit, sis.
Yeah,
And
your
so I
credit
think
speaks volumes about you, but it's either you have it and it's good, or you have it, or you if you don't have credit, people don't know whether or not they can trust you. The lenders, the banks, whatever, they don't know if they can trust you to make payments. If you have credit and it's bad, they definitely don't think they can trust you because the proof is in black and white. Sometimes people come to me and tell me their stories. I am a lender. I do auto loans. I refinance cars and credit cards and all that stuff because I work in the bank. And people often come to me and say, I mean, business owners who have, I'm looking at an account with $100,000 in it, but they want a credit card because they need wiggle room in their business. Completely natural, understandable. But when they apply and they have late payments on their credit card, the bank isn't comfortable giving you a credit card because it doesn't look like you can pay your bills on time. I had a client say, "Well, Sakia, that shouldn't be there." That he gave me a story behind it, and his story made sense, but your story isn't going to get you approved. You have to, it has to be in black and white. So if there's something wrong on your credit report, then you need to contact that company to get it updated or to get it corrected or to get it removed, so that when you present yourself in front of a lender, you are presenting yourself to be a credible, that you are presenting yourself to be a credible consumer. What you're saying to me, I can trust because, it's in black and white.
I think too, one thing that people, well, I know a lot of people don't know the difference between a credit report and then a credit score. So can you explain the difference between the two? And like as a lender, and I love that you are a lender at a bank, what are you guys looking for or looking at to determine whether or not you're comfortable or not with lending?
So a credit score is just an overall number based on different aspects of your credit report. It includes your payment history. It includes your credit utilization. It includes um, your credit utilization, which is your balances. It includes how much you've applied for credit, how long you've had credit, and it's one more, the amount of times that you apply inquiries. And it's important, but it's not as important as your credit report. And there are different formulas. Everyone uses a different formula to determine your credit score. So I always try to stress to my clients, please don't focus on your score, because if your credit report is healthy, then you will have a healthy credit score. And so your credit report is, how do you have collections on your credit report? That hurts your credit score. Without them, your score goes up. Are you making your payments on time? If you have late payments, so I've had people with late payments, but their credit score is still like a 650. But you can still get declined. You can still get declined with a 650. You can still get declined with a 680. You can still get declined with a 700. So